If you've heard of CrossFit, your first impression probably wasn't positive. Whether that's because of its floppy pull-ups,
0, 0, 0,
its seemingly dangerous nature, or the fact the community is often referred to as a cult.
What if someone led a cult and they didn't know they were? I mean, that would be messed up, right?
There's three main reasons CrossFit became so hated, and how these came about is concerning.
Here we go, a bit of fitness here as he does some sort of fucking washing machine type of pull-up here.
This is a workout craze with no signs of slowing down.
It's a workout program that's unpredictable, uncompromising, and raw.
But critics say CrossFit is dangerous and people are getting hurt.
Despite going from zero to over $4 billion in 20 years, CrossFit is probably the most controversial fitness brand in the world.
Dangerous, maybe to the rest of the industry. I think we are a threat, but not to people's well-being.
So how did it become so popular, yet so hated? CrossFit was formed in the year 2000 in Santa Cruz, California, by 𝐿𝐿𝐼. He believed that the traditional metrics of fitness and intensity kinda suck.
For the bodybuilders, intensity comes down to how red your face gets and how big of a scene you make and how much you grunt and I go, wow, that's intense.
But the endurance community's metric for intensity, heart rate, was just as bad. His new methodology was to create the fittest people on earth, with constantly changing workouts to prepare people for the unexpected, in which the aim was to not only lift heavy weight for reps, but to do it quickly.
Hey, we're really doing this shit so we can go outside and survive better.
The athletes would all train together in classes as a tribe. Everyone believed in CrossFit's vision, and they'd throw stones at traditional fitness.
You can sit there in Gold's Gym for hours, I've done it for years, and go days at a time without seeing functional movement except for the people coming in, setting their bags down. And as soon as they start working out, I get this shit.
The brand was seen as a rebellious underdog in the fitness industry, and because it was seen as this new, ultimate sport for fitness, CrossFit's growth was rapid. By 2005, CrossFit had expanded to 13 gyms. By 2016, it reached 13,000 gyms. And then, by 2020, over 15,000 gyms. So what could possibly be to hate about a fitness brand growing like a fast food chain, getting millions into fitness? Surely, this is an amazing concept. CrossFit's specialty is being extremely unspecialized. In a workout, you might be doing this, or this. As the creator wanted to focus on functional fitness, with the aim of improving in all of these areas, CrossFit includes a large number of technical movements, which can require much more skill than other sports to learn, especially considering movements are done for reps, catalysed by a competitive environment where speed's important. As a result, form breakdown is of high risk, which is partially why we see so many CrossFit fail videos. In fact, the creator's always been clear on the potentially dangerous nature of CrossFit, stating that it can actually kill you. This edgy nature initially seemed to attract people to it, with one of their unofficial mascots being 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐝 the clown, a stereotype of how often people at CrossFit train to vomiting.
I've met 𝐂𝐶 multiple times, but then again, you're doing this for competition, so you kind of have to go there.
But perhaps more concerning is their mascot Uncle Rhabdo, a clown dying from rhabdomyolysis. His guts are falling to the floor due to a condition which can be caused by training so hard that your muscles break down, entering the blood, which can then cause organ damage and death, a syndrome which turns urine a disturbing colour. CrossFit has been criticised for glorifying this condition, or at least not taking it seriously, with some gyms bragging about it, and people posing in hospital with the condition, as if it's a badge of honour. In response, the CrossFit creator stated, "We introduced Rhabdo because we're honest and believe that full disclosure of risk is the only ethical thing to do." Regardless, many dislike CrossFit for the prioritisation of intensity over form. A commonly mentioned fitness horror story is that of CrossFit athlete 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐝, who severed his spine during a fitness competition. And while it's used to scare people away from CrossFit, it's important to remember extreme injuries can happen in any sports. Not to mention, it was actually a weightlifting competition where the injury happened. If we look at the injury rates, it would actually be unfair to call CrossFit much more dangerous than weightlifting or powerlifting. However, considering the weights used in CrossFit are usually lighter, with the movements done in supervised classes, it's still unnecessarily high. The data's likely positively skewed, meaning the CrossFit injury rate is massively inflated by bad gyms. And make no mistake, there are some awful CrossFit gyms out there. If you're over the age of 18, you could open your very own CrossFit gym as a qualified instructor after just 2 days of training. So although CrossFit done right is a very safe sport, due to these factors it can be unnecessarily dangerous. And unfortunately, it's the extreme fails and stupidity which tend to make sensational stories and go viral. But it's not just a concern for people's well-being that makes people hate CrossFit. It's often the fact CrossFitters don't seem to shut up about CrossFit. A common stereotype is that once you start CrossFit, it becomes your personality and pretty much all you care about.
CrossFit is a lifestyle. It starts in the gym and it ends on your Facebook.
It's not uncommon for the media to refer to it as a cult,
All hail the culture of CrossFit.
with many deeming it the Scientology of fitness. And from the outside, it may seem to have a lot of cultish attributes. For example, the stereotype of CrossFitters almost worshipping CrossFit.
But did you know that CrossFit is the only way to work out?
How they try and recruit new members,
CrossFit's not just an exercise, it's a cult, way of life.
and all think the same way.
Damn it! I knew this felt cult-like.
While it's definitely the minority that's actually like this, a valid concern in this tribal group environment is the likelihood of groupthink, a phenomenon that occurs when the desire for group consensus overrides people's common sense. This is particularly dangerous considering some CrossFit gyms are run by massively underqualified people. It may explain why we see some gyms proudly displaying rhabdo boards, people selling merch like this, and why some CrossFitters can be so extreme, painting a bad picture for the rest of a sport.
Fish oil pills. I do CrossFit.
When you consider the likelihood of groupthink and the fact CrossFit was created to be the superior sport, it's not surprising why people make fun of its elitist nature.
What's this shit? Anyone ever done that on a job site? Is it essential to raising children?
As if this is going to help you raise a child.
That is doing absolutely nothing to improve your balance. All you're doing is building really big chest muscles that won't help you at all the next time you have to fight off a grizzly bear.
While I personally think CrossFit's community aspect is its biggest benefit, and having a strong community doesn't make it an evil sect, it's not surprising why CrossFitters get stereotyped for belonging to an annoying elitist cult. By far the most common criticism of CrossFit is the fact it looks stupid. I think most would agree some of these movements are definitely questionable. Instead of doing things with strict form, CrossFitters have found ways to cheat, to get through workouts quicker. For example, the CrossFit rules for a pull-up only state you must get your chin over the bar, so people started kipping. Many experts claim these are unnecessarily technical and dangerous and shouldn't be called pull-ups considering it's more of a swing. A similar thing is seen in powerlifting, where people arch their backs to create an almost non-existent range of motion. But because kipping is so humorous to watch, CrossFitters are frequently made fun of.
Bang! And he's basically dead as the woman jumps in a different direction.
CrossFit has revolutionized fitness by teaching the correct way to do an incorrect pull-up.
While good gyms focus on the basics and sensible programming, unfortunately, others get a little too creative with their movements, all in the name of functional training.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Now, whenever someone does something which looks dumb in the gym, it tends to get labelled as CrossFit, only strengthening the stereotype. But you see, a lot of the dislike does come from misunderstanding. While many do CrossFit to become better all-round athletes, others do it simply to get better at CrossFit and not to gain muscle optimally. In good CrossFit gyms, workouts include mostly basic movements, with most of the odd-looking exercises only being done by the advanced, often as training to compete in the CrossFit Games, which is its own sport. In fact, to become the first ever Australian Ninja Warrior, Ben Paulson trained with butterfly pull-ups, and I think you can see how they may have been useful here, allowing him to take the trophy, along with a $400,000 cash prize.
I thank CrossFit a lot.
So even something as ridiculous and universally hated as the CrossFit pull-ups can have a use. There's nuances to everything. Still, the criticisms around the dangers of CrossFit are valid. CrossFitters can be impressively annoying, and it can look odd, although CrossFit kind of asks to get bullied. It was a great idea, just with terrible execution. The brand became hated due to its dangerous perception and elitist stance, all the while incorporating unusual movements, with many gyms completely forgetting what functional training actually is. And you can't really blame them, considering a 2-day course is all they needed to open. Unfortunately, each of these points are enhanced by stereotypes. Whether or not CrossFit is bad largely depends on the gym you go to. CrossFit with a good coach is probably just what some, who may find the gym boring, need. In a world where most people are sedentary, with companies selling 2,600 calorie drinks, any physical activity done safely should be respected. And the best workout is the one you actually do long term.